This is Professor Urbis White. Today we will start reviewing real numbers. We are going to start with fraction basics. How do fractions work? And some of you may skip this section. I have a series of modules really detailed about fractions. You need to sign up for a class, and it's called Fraction Module 1 and 2. You're going to go really deep and learn those things. But right now I felt I need to give you some fraction basics in case you do not take that class and you still want to know what you're doing with fractions. So I'll show you one example for each operation and we go from there. Okay, let's see how that works out. Let's start with simplifying fractions. All right, you have a fraction like this, and one thing you may have is one way is just you see it right away. Okay, that's one way. You write it 4, 3, 5, 6. And if you have really good mental math skills, you may be able to do this. And somehow, by some miracle, I can see, 66 goes into 4, 3, 5, 6. And I can go to my calculator if I'm not sure. It looks like it is promising. I divide 4, 3, 5, 6 by 66. I get 66. Watch. 66 divided by 66 is 1. 4,356 divided by 66 is 66. And you're done. 66 over 1, which is 66. That's one way. But that's very unlikely that I will see that with other numbers. Okay, another way is you can start dividing this by a number, by a prime number, and divide both numbers, top and bottom, by that number. So let's try that. Let's say, since this ends with an even number, I go, okay, well, the first prime that divides both numbers is 2. 66 divided, this is the second way. Divide by 2, that's going to give me 33. And this number divided by 2 is going to give me 2,178. Now I go to the next phase. I go, okay, well, can I deal with these guys? So, well, yeah, actually 33 is divisible by 3, and that I'll get 11. And this one, is this divisible by 3? 2 plus 1, that's 3, 10, 18. Yes, that's divisible by 3. Remember, you divide all you add up all the digits, and if that number is divisible by 3, the whole number is divisible by 3. That's divisible by 3, and when you do that, you will get 726. Then I go to the next phase. Is this divisible by 11? And actually that turns out to be the case, and that's divisible by 11, and you will get 66. That's the second way. The third way is the prime factorization. That's the one I call it just do your trees. So what you do is you, let me move this to the left a little bit. The third way, you take your number, let me make a little room here. You take 66, and then you divide by the smallest prime you can think of, and that's going to be 2, 33, that's going to be 3, and 11. So 66 turns out to be 2 times 3 times 11. Okay, let's do the same thing with this 4,356. Divide that by 2. Divide this by 2. Divide this by 3. I need more and more place. Divide this by 3 again. Divide this by 11. Then I write these numbers. 2, 2, 3, 3, 11, 11. 2, 2, 3, 3, 11, 11. Okay, all you need to do now is start crossing them off. Look what you have. You have 2 and 3 and 11, which turns out to be 66. All right, so I showed you how to simplify fractions 3 different ways. You do the same thing with the mixed numbers. If you are supposed to simplify a mixed number, one way is you can turn this into an improper fraction and do the same thing that I did, or just leave the whole number part alone and work with this. I know that 33 is divisible by 11. When I do that, I divide by 11, I get 3. And I divide 121 by 11, I get 11. And guess what? And this gives me 2 and 3/11. And this just turns out to be pretty simple. Okay, let's talk about multiplying fractions, and I'll show you. Once you have two fractions you need to multiply, and don't deal with them. I mean, if you can simplify them at the beginning, you can do it. But what you do is you go and you try to see if one goes into the other one. I know that this is going to be, you are going to multiply across 36 times 5 divided by 25 times 9. Watch what I'm doing. 5 divided by 5, that's 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Then you go do the same thing. 9 divided by 9, that's 1. 36 divided by 9 is 4. You end up with 4 on top and 5 at the bottom. Okay, did we do this right? Okay. Let me make sure. Okay, that's 4 times 9 is 36. 5. 4 divided by 5. Okay, so one way you can do it, you can actually go and multiply these out. 36 times 5, that's 180. Check. I'm using the calculator as just a regular calculator, simple calculator. 25 times 9 is 225. And I'm going 180 divided by 225 is 0.8. And 4 divided by 5 is also 0.8. So check. You can actually use your calculator in the fraction mode and then enter these with the ABC buttons in your calculator. Like 36, ABC, 25, that will keep it as a fraction. And check your work again. So, that's how you multiply fractions. Multiply across before you multiply and make them big. Simplify them and you are all good to go. Now, what do I do with the mixed numbers? With the mixed numbers, convert them to fractions. And I'm not going to go in detail about how to do that, but I'll show you the shortcut. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2, that's 5. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 3, 18. So I did that, multiply these two, and add this one, and this one stays the same. Okay, now, can I simplify before I multiply? I just write this out. Okay, now can I cross something off? Yes, I can. And 18 divided by 3, that's 6. You can also check your work with your calculator if you want. But that's how you multiply mixed numbers. You turn them into fractions and then multiply across. How do I divide fractions? And this is, I'm not going to do a proof or anything. I'll just show you how it's done. What you do, you take the dividend as this, 36 over 25. You change the division into multiplication, and you flipped the divisor. And remember how you used to multiply, so you write it out. You multiply across. Before you go and multiply them across, try to kind of see if anything can be simplified. Watch. 25 divided by 25 is 1. 75 divided by 25, that's 3. Is there anything else? There's a 7. It doesn't go in there, so you multiply across. 36 times 3 is 108. And 7. you can actually leave this alone, or you can change it back into a mixed number. 7 goes into 108 15 times, and then you have a remainder of 3. And either this one or that one is acceptable. Okay, this is how you multiply fractions. All right. Let's do some, divide fractions. Let's do dividing mixed numbers. Now, you don't deal with mixed numbers, you convert them into fractions. Okay? So how do you do that? 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1, 16. 4 times 25, that's 100 plus 2, 102. Now what do? You write the dividend it is. You change this into multiplication and you flip the second one. Then you multiply across. And then before you actually multiply them, try to get some simplifications done. 16 divided by 2 is 8. 102 divided by 2 is 51. Is there anything else? Yeah, there is one more. How about 5 divided by 5, that's 1. 25 divided by 5, that's 5. What do I have? 5 times 8, 40. And at the bottom you have 51. So you're done with that. So dividing mixed numbers, convert them into improper fractions, and then divide. Adding fractions. These are like fractions. When the denominators are the same, they are called like fractions. All you have to do is just add the top. 2 plus 3, and that's 5. At this point, you simplify, but there's nothing to simplify, then I'm done. How about when they're unlike fractions, the denominators don't match? You try to make them match, and there is something called lowest common multiple or lowest common denominator. What is the multiple of these things, which is lowest and which is common? So it's actually 22. So what you do, you're allowed to multiply top and bottom of a fraction by the same number. So you have 1 over 22. 2 times 3 is 6 over 22. 6 plus 1, 7 over 22. So that is how you actually add fractions that are unlike. How do you do that with mixed numbers? Now these are like mixed numbers. In other words, the denominators are the same. What I do, I just write them vertically. It's a little bit easier for me to do that. Okay? This is what you do. They are like fraction parts. So you leave them alone. 3 plus 2 is 5 over 11, and 2 plus 1 is 3. I tackle the fraction portion and the whole number portion separately. And at this point, I try to simplify. If there's anything to simplify, I simplify that. Now, I'll show you another example. These are, again, like mixed numbers. The denominators are the same. So I'll do the same thing. 1 and 10 elevenths. 2 and 3 elevenths. I add them up. The denominators are the same. So 10 plus 3 is 13. 2 plus 1 is 3. Am I happy? You should not be happy, because this fraction part is improper. You want to make this proper. Okay? Let's talk about that. What do I do? How do I make this thing proper? 13 divided by 11. I have 1 11th and I have 2 11ths. So this is 1 times 11 plus 2, that's 13. So I had a 1 here and a 3 here. Together what happens is 1 plus 3, that's 4, 2 11ths. Do you see that? So 13 11ths, so you kind of go like this. 3 plus 13 11ths is 1 and 2 11ths. and 3 plus 1 is 4 and 2 11ths. So when you have an improper fraction in the fraction part, you have to convert it. You cannot deal with it unless it's proper. So what you do, you make the improper fraction into a mixed number, just like this one, and then add the whole number part. Okay? Okay, so that's how you add mixed numbers, but at the end, make sure that they look nice. Now, what do you do when you have unlike mixed numbers? I do the same thing. I write them vertically. Now, the thing is, these are unlike, so I need to make this the same. So I multiply top and bottom by 3 and rewrite this. Watch. 1 and 2 over 33. 2 and 3 over 33. Now they are like, so I add the fraction part. 3 plus 2 is 5. And I add the whole number part. And there's nothing to simplify. That I'm done. Okay. Now, let's do another one. This one is, I write them vertically again. Here we go. Now I need to match the denominators. That means I need to multiply top and bottom by 3 and rewrite. Now I add 30 plus 20, that's 50. 2 plus 1 is 3. Just like before, remember? This portion is improper, so I need to go and deal with that. 50 over 33 is, you have 133 going into 50, and I have a remainder of 17. So what I do is, this is 3 plus 50 over 33 is 1 and 17 over 33. So 3 plus 1, that's 4 and 17 over 33. So that is the pretty version of that. So make sure you understand that. Okay, now let's go over subtractions. I write them vertically again. And this time I'm going to subtract. It's very similar. The fraction portions are like 6 minus 1 is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. And there's nothing to simplify. So I just subtracted two mixed numbers. Alright. Let's do this one. 3 and 1 11th and 1 and 10 11ths. Now this one is a little tricky. This one is 1 and this one is 10. So I cannot subtract 10 from 1. And just like borrowing for whole numbers, I need to borrow from the whole number part. Here we go. I borrow 1 at a time. So I borrow 1, so I have 2 left. When I borrow 1, 1 is the same as 11 over 11. I match this. So I have here 11 over 11. So I'm borrowing 1 in here, which is 11 over 11. And I had 1 over 11. 11 plus 1, that's 12. So this number became 2n 12 over 11. The shortcut is going to be, watch, this number is going to be always this plus that, 11 plus 1, 12. So that's your shortcut. 12 minus 10 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And there's nothing else I can do at this point. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's do one with the unlike portion of the fractions. 3 and 27 over 28. 1 and 1/7. Okay, I need to match the denominators. Here we go. Multiply this by 4. Multiply this by 4. Rewrite. 3 and 27 over 28. 1 and 4 over 28. 27 minus 4, that's 23. And 3 minus 1, that's 2. And there is nothing I can do to simplify. All right. Let's do one where I do everything together. I need to match the denominators. I need to borrow and everything. So let's rewrite 4 and 1 over 15. 1 and 4/5. Subtract. I need to match the denominators. This 5 has to become 15, so it's 3. Rewrite 4 and 1/15. 1 and 12/15. Now watch. 12 is big, 1 is small. I need to borrow. How do I do that? I borrow from here. Now I have 3 left. Remember what the shortcut was. 15 plus 1, that's 16. This becomes 16. I rewrite 3 and 16/15. So that's the borrowed version. 1 and 12/15. 16 minus 12, that's 4. 15 stays alone. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 and 4/15. And there's nothing I can simplify. So this is the end of reviewing fraction operations. And good luck. Now we're going to go to the real numbers.